Hi everyone, it's Lauren. I hope you're all doing really well. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a while, but I wanted to wait until I felt quite okay about it before discussing really. So it's half a bit of a catch-up video of what's been going on in my life and half a bit of a general discussion about what it means when we feel like we failed and what it's like to go through that, and just talk about stuff a little bit more generally. So if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I had a pretty big thing happen in my career about a month ago. Essentially, I had a whole career change about 2 years ago. I joined a company on a scheme and it was supposed to move me around into different roles, and the end of this 2 years scheme, I was supposed to take this exam. It's not an exam, it was more like an assessment. It was a week-long assessment to see if I could be a trader. And I did that at the beginning of May and I ended up failing it. The way the process works at my company is that you kind of learn different things by sitting on different teams, and then the assessment itself is like it's 3 full days actually of like simulations, and it was one of the most intense weeks I've ever gone through in my entire life. It was ridiculous. They kind of set you up with screens like you're trading, and they give you a scenario, and it's like really high intense pressure. They throw everything at you. You've got to react really quickly. And while you're trying to play the game or whatever the situation is you're in, there's assessors in your room with you asking you questions. And it was so ridiculous. I barely ate or slept for like 4 days. Or none of us did. There were 9 of us taking it, and everyone was just like so wired the whole time. Just so much adrenaline. I've never known anything like it. So at the end of the week, there was different people assessing us on every single game. So overall, it's something like 20 different people from around the company with various different experience have been watching you and assessing you. And at the end of the week, they decide whether they think you should be a person to trade or not. So if they say no, which they did to me, that means you can't trade at my company, and I can't retake the test because the games don't change. So I can't do it again next year because I would know what to expect. And also it's not like a knowledge-based thing, it's more of a personality test. So they've kind of decided, look, we've put you under immense pressure this week, this is how you've reacted, and this is how all these different people have looked at you, and this is the conclusion we've come to, which is this isn't the type of role where you would be happy and comfortable in. It was a really weird, unique experience, and it wasn't a bad thing, I don't think, for me, that I got a no, which I will come to later. But it means that I'm now in a situation where the sort of door that I thought was open to me and the path I thought I was going to take, that has been closed, and unless I go to a different company and trade. But to be fair, after taking that week, like, I do not want to trade elsewhere. So I sort of can't do that career path now. And in a way, that's a good thing, because it's like, okay, that's closed. I can do what other things can I do? What other feedback did I get? What do I enjoy doing? Which is a bit daunting. And the other side of it is that my 2-year scheme expires in October. So I don't have a permanent job because I joined. Everything I've been doing for the last 2 years has been driven towards this assessment and towards me being a trader at the end of it, which I can't do. So I need to get a new job. So the last month has been last 2 months really. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. I've been going through a whole range of emotions, and what's really weird is almost immediately after I got my feedback, although I was exhausted and just relieved basically for it to be over, I actually felt really good. Because I kind of thought, this is actually amazing that I've got all this opportunity now. And I would never have known if I could have traded. Like, if I hadn't tried, I would have always thought, oh, maybe I could have done that. And it's quite amazing, actually. Like, it's a bit of a gift to have been given a whole week of being under so much pressure in these simulations. But you're in a safe environment. Like, nothing can really go wrong. And I've never experienced that kind of pressure before, so it's kind of amazing. You learn so much about yourself within that week, and at least I kind of know I didn't enjoy it. Like, without doing the job and without stuff going majorly wrong, I already know I didn't like that and I wouldn't want to do it. So that's really useful. So almost immediately after, the week after, I was like, oh my god, this is so good, I can just get another job and it's fine. And then I kind of dipped again. In the last few weeks especially, I've been all over the place. Like one day I'll be thinking, I'm never going to get a job, I'm such an idiot, everyone else at the company is so clever and I don't have the right experience and I'm going to have to stop. I was like saying to Will at one point, I was like, maybe I should just be a housewife. I'll just leave work and you can work because I can't do anything. And then I'm like, do you know what? I'm probably going to be CEO. Like on another day, I'd just be like completely flipped the other way and be like, I'm definitely going to get a job. But what's been really interesting as well is that it's not just about my reaction, you know, whether my anxiety as to whether I'm going to be employed in a few months' time. That's kind of one portion of it. But the way I keep thinking about what happened and the way I'm processing the fact that I did fail this thing that I wanted to do, and you know, the fact that I left a job that I'd been in for 7 years, I was doing really well, and I was bored, I wanted a new challenge. Like this was a massive risk for me to change careers, and it hasn't paid off in the traditional sense. I still am really pleased I did it, but what's odd is, even though at the end of the week I was kind of relieved, and I do fundamentally agree with the decision that I shouldn't be a trader, it's still sad because I don't like failing. Like nobody likes to fail anything. Like you do feel like embarrassed, and you do feel like, oh, everyone thinks I'm stupid because I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do. And it has been a bit difficult to come to terms with that. And you're sort of mourning you're mourning the idea that you had of your future. Like a few weeks ago, all of the trading jobs got posted on the jobs website, and all the other guys who passed obviously have now been interviewing for their trading jobs. And I was just like, oh, and like I'm talking to them about the interviews they're going to, and even though I'm like, that sounds, I don't want to do that, it's still kind of sad, and it's still something I need to come to terms with, like just for myself. I think the other thing I've been struggling with recently is that I've always kind of prided myself on being quite resilient and being like, that's fine, let's move forward, being quite a positive person, and being able to handle pressure and being able to tackle anything that's like thrown at me. And actually that even did come across in my feedback from the assessment. They said like, you showed really good resilience, like every game, like even though it was going wrong, you were like coming back in, and you know, you didn't stop trying, which I was like really pleased to hear as well. You know, when someone's seen you, you know, and you feel like, yes, I'm really pleased you picked up on that, because I felt like I was really handling that aspect of it really well. And then the other day I was just like crying at work because I was scared I wouldn't get a job. And it's an odd feeling for me to feel like, oh, I'm good at facing adversity, and then at the same time finding it really difficult, because I feel like we have this idea that if you're good at handling high pressure situations, it means that it doesn't upset you or it doesn't affect you. And I think that's actually an aspect of my personality I'm having to reconcile a little bit with myself, because you can only call yourself resilient if you find the thing you're getting through difficult. Like if you find it easy, that's not really being resilient, is it? Because it's not a trial for you and it's not difficult. And the fact that I keep going up and down with my emotions and, you know, trying to get through it, but also other times feeling really low or feeling really stressed or just like anxious about the future and things like that, like, you know, it's something you have to face, and it's something I know I have to get through, and I have to feel all those feelings, and I have to get past it. So it's a difficult time, and it's a scary time also because, you know, I can only apply for jobs that exist, and it's trying to wait for those roles to come up. I'm like talking to those people in my company, like, oh, hey, have you got a job in the next few months? Oh, just like networking. Horrific. But that's all I can really do. You can only do what you can do, and they can only hire you if they want you. You can only apply for things. And I think it's good to keep talking about these things. I wanted to address it, not because I feel like it was some kind of white elephant in the corner, like hanging over me or anything, like people were going to start asking. But I wanted to address it because I think it's useful, and I think it's necessary to keep talking about these things, because life doesn't always pan out the way you expect it to. Like, in fact, most times it doesn't pan out the way you expect it to. And a lot of us are going to have to deal with difficulties and overcoming different hurdles and things like that. So apologies if this has been a bit rambly. I probably should have put some like points together to actually make it more useful to other people, rather than me just like treating this camera like it's my therapist. But you know, we can keep talking in the comments. I think that might be interesting, like to just dealing in general how people deal with failure and how you feel about it when you're going through it, and then also like in hindsight. Like I think it's really easy in hindsight to think, oh, this bad thing that happened to me, that was actually the best thing and it gave me all this new insights to my life. But that doesn't really help when you're in the midst of it. Like, you still have to try and have that forward view. It's kind of like a dual situation in my brain. I'm like, this is what I'm going through now, but in a year I'm going to be really happy that it happened, sort of thing. You're trying to like manage these two realities at the same time. It's confusing, but I'm getting there. I don't really know how to wrap this video up other than like, that's it. That's where I am. And you know, that's why there's not been that many videos going up recently. I've been quite, I don't want to say on edge, but like, you know, there's just been a lot happening and I've been very tired. I'm not like really happy to talk about books. But actually, even though I haven't had time to like physically film, the reading of books has been really helpful. Like, it's just been really nice to escape into the world of reading. Like, I've found it like a real comfort recently, which is good, and that's nice. That makes me feel like I'm kind of back in the swing of reading, because I was in a bit of a reading slump leading up to the assessment, because I obviously had lots of stuff to do to prepare for it, and now that's over, and now that I like need a bit of a helping hand, like I found it in books, guys. I'd like to keep talking to you in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video, which will be fairly soon, I think. So, bye.